They told you to save money. They told you to work hard. But no one told you this. The one silent force that separates the wealthy from the struggling. It's called compounding. And it's not what you think. Most people believe compounding is just about earning a little interest over time. But in reality, compounding is the most dangerous weapon of wealth ever discovered. Used right, it turns ordinary people into millionaires without a high salary, without a lucky break, and without grinding 24/7. The problem? School didn't teach this. Banks don't explain it. And your parents probably didn't even know it existed in its full power. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the hidden power of compounding. What no one taught you, what the rich mastered early, and why every day you delay is costing you more than you realize. So if you've ever dreamed of building unstoppable wealth without burning out, this is your moment. Let's begin. Point 1. Compounding is not just about money, it's a mindset shift. Most people think compounding only happens with money sitting in an account, but real compounding? It starts with how you think. It's about understanding that small actions, repeated consistently, create explosive results. Imagine this, you read 10 pages a day. It doesn't feel like much, but that's 3,650 pages in a year, dozens of books, and every page sharpens your mind. Every idea builds on the last. You're not just learning, you're compounding knowledge. And knowledge? That's what turns ideas into income. Now apply that to habits. Working out, saving, learning a skill. Each rep, each dollar, each hour compounds into something massive. But here's the key. Most people give up because the results are invisible at first. They do the work, but see nothing. So they quit right before the magic begins. Compounding punishes the impatient and rewards the consistent. If you want to be wealthy, not just in money but in mindset, you must fall in love with boring repetition. It's not sexy, it's not loud, but it's the hidden rhythm of every millionaire's journey. And once you grasp this, you see the world differently. You stop chasing hacks and start building unstoppable habits. You begin investing in yourself like a bank account, because you realize every action today is an investment in your future self. That's the real beginning of compounding. Not numbers, but beliefs. Once your mindset compounds, money follows. Point 2. Master budgeting, the foundation of financial control. If money is a tool, then budgeting is the blueprint. It's where intention meets action. Most people hate budgeting because they think it's about restriction, but in reality, budgeting is about permission. It gives you the freedom to spend without guilt, knowing everything is aligned with your goals. In 2025, expenses are rising faster than income. Subscriptions, one-click purchases, BNPL, buy now, pay later, and inflation are silently draining people's wallets. And without a clear budget, it's like trying to build a house with no design. Random walls, missing roofs, constant stress. A smart budget isn't about tracking every penny. It's about giving every dollar a job. Whether that job is covering your rent, building your emergency fund, or funding your future investments, every dollar must have direction. Most millionaires don't budget because they're broke. They budget because they value control. They want their money to reflect their values. Do you? Start with the basics: fixed costs, variable expenses, and future goals. Automate your savings. Cap your spending. Set guilt-free categories for fun. Yes, budgeting includes fun. The goal isn't to punish yourself, it's to stop being a slave to mindless spending. Think of your budget as your monthly financial GPS. It keeps you from getting lost in a world of consumerism, ads, dopamine-driven purchases, and TikTok trends. Because if you don't decide where your money goes, someone else will. Budgeting also reveals hidden patterns. You'll start to notice emotional spending, unnecessary habits, or where small leaks are drowning big dreams. And when you fix those, the sense of clarity is powerful. You're no longer guessing, you're in charge. And remember, budgeting isn't a one-time activity. It's a living, breathing system. Adjust it monthly, review it weekly, refine it based on your goals. No athlete plays without tracking the score. No business survives without accounting. Why should your life be any different? Point 3. Time beats talent in the compounding game. Ever feel like you're behind because you didn't start early? That you need to be a genius to catch up? Let me destroy that myth right now. When it comes to compounding, time beats talent every single time. You don't need to be smarter, luckier, or more connected. You just need to start and stay in the game. Let me give you a raw example. If person A invests $200 a month starting at age 20 and stops at 30, while person B starts at 30 and invests $200 every month until 60, guess what? Person A, who only invested for 10 years, ends up with more money. Why? Because those early dollars had time to compound. Time is the multiplier. Money just fuels it. It's not about how much you have, but how long you give it to grow. Every year you delay costs you more than you think. Not in effort, in lost opportunity. That's why the most important decision you can make today is to start, not tomorrow, not when you get a raise, now. Because when time is on your side, even small amounts grow into empires, talent fades, luck runs out. But time compounds. Point 4, destroy bad debt. Stop bleeding before you start building. Debt isn't always the enemy, but bad debt is a silent killer of wealth. It's sneaky, it's normalized, it feels manageable until it's not. And in 2025, with rising interest rates and aggressive lending traps, understanding debt is non-negotiable. Let's be clear. There's a huge difference between productive debt and consumptive debt. Productive debt buys you assets, things that grow in value or generate income, like a rental property or business investment. Consumptive debt, on the other hand, funds lifestyles, fancy cars, new gadgets, weekend getaways you can't afford. And that's where most people get stuck. Bad debt keeps you poor even when your income rises. Why? Because your future income is already sold off to pay for your past decisions. That new phone, that outfit, that trip, you're still paying for it with interest. Debt turns your life into a subscription service. You keep paying long after the joy is gone. And in 2025, with BNPL schemes, 0% down marketing, and credit card limits increasing with every purchase, debt is a trap disguised as freedom. If you're drowning in it, you're not alone, but you must act. Start by listing all debts, smallest to largest or highest interest to lowest. Choose a method, the debt snowball or avalanche. Pay minimums on all, but attack one with everything you've got. Every dollar counts. Why is this urgent? Because compound interest works both ways. If you owe $10,000 at 20% interest and only make minimum payments, that debt could cost you $20,000 over time. That's not an expense. That's theft from your future. The key is discipline and honesty. Cut the card. Pause the shopping. Face the truth. Every payment you make isn't just reducing debt, it's reclaiming freedom. Every dollar you send toward debt is a dollar you control again. And once you're free of bad debt, you're no longer working for your past. You're building your future. You unlock cash flow. You regain options. You breathe easier. Debt might be common, but it shouldn't be normal. In 2025, real wealth starts with saying, no more bleeding. Before you invest, before you build, stop the leaks. Point 5. Compounding is destroyed by interruptions. Here's the dark side no one talks about. Compounding only works if it's uninterrupted. Every time you pull money out, you reset the clock. Every time you break your habit, you break the chain. It's like cutting down a tree before it bears fruit. The rich protect their compounding at all costs because they know momentum is fragile. One missed month, one emotional panic sell, one break in routine, and you kill years of progress. This is why discipline matters more than desire. Desire is loud. Discipline is quiet. But discipline keeps the compounding alive. Think about it, what's easier? Skipping a workout today? Or staying consistent for a year and watching your body transform? The difference isn't intensity, it's continuity. That's what builds wealth, health, and freedom. So the next time you're tempted to break the chain, ask yourself, is this moment worth the price of lost compounding? Usually, the answer is no, because one interruption doesn't just slow you down, it sets you back. Point 6. Compounding works best when it's automated. Let's be honest. Discipline fades. Motivation comes and goes. But automation, that's how compounding wins long term. The rich automate everything they can. Investments, savings, bill payments, even their habits. Why? Because they know willpower is unreliable. You can't trust yourself to do the right thing every single time. But if you automate the right behavior, it happens whether you feel like it or not. Think about your bank auto-deducting $100 into an investment account each month. You don't even see it. You don't even miss it. But over time, that invisible action grows into real wealth. And here's the beautiful part. Automation removes emotion. You don't panic when the market dips. You just keep investing. You don't forget to save. You already did. That's the quiet genius of compounding through automation. It creates progress without effort. No decision fatigue, no second guessing. Just a machine working silently in your favor. The more you automate, the more consistent you become. And consistency is the oxygen of compounding. So if you want to win this game, don't rely on motivation. Rely on systems. Automate your path to wealth, then get out of your own way. Point 7. Compounding doesn't care about your income, only your habits. One of the biggest myths in personal finance is this. You need a high income to build wealth. But compounding doesn't care how much you make. It cares how much you keep and how consistently you grow it. You could earn $150,000 a year and still be broke. Or earn $40,000 a year and retire rich. Why? Because compounding rewards behavior, not status. It doesn't care about your job title. It doesn't reward the loud spender. It rewards the quiet investor. Every time you spend less than you earn, save the gap and invest it, you activate the formula. The moment you shift from consumer to creator, from spender to investor, you enter the compounding world. The truth? Most people with high incomes are terrible at compounding. They inflate their lifestyle, chase appearances, and miss the point. The wealthy play a different game. They understand. Habits are assets. If you can master basic habits, saving, investing, learning, you can win at any income level. And as those habits compound, your income often rises too. But here's the twist. It rises because you became a better steward of your money, not the other way around. Compounding isn't about how much you have. It's about what you do with what you have, and habits always beat hype. Point 8. Compounding applies to relationships and reputation, too. We often hear about compounding in terms of money. But what if I told you it applies just as powerfully to relationships and reputation? Let's break it down. When you help someone once, they might forget. But when you help consistently, show up consistently, care consistently, people remember. Trust begins to grow. And trust, like money, compounds. That's how reputations are built. One interaction at a time, one value-added conversation after another. Until one day, opportunities flood your way, not because you asked, but because you've earned it. Your network expands, and suddenly, doors you never imagined start opening. Clients refer you, mentors support you, partners seek you out. Why? Because your value has been compounding under the surface. You didn't force it. You didn't fake it. You just showed up over and over again. Reputation isn't built in a day. But over time, it becomes a magnet. This is why the wealthy invest in people, not just portfolios. Because they know compound relationships are more powerful than compound interest. And the return is often priceless. Point 9. The first 100K is the hardest. Here's why. Ask any self-made millionaire and they'll tell you the first 100K feels like climbing Mount Everest. Why? Because at that stage, it's 90% effort, 10% results. You're grinding, saving, investing, but seeing tiny gains. It feels like nothing's working, but you're actually building the foundation. And foundations take time. Every dollar saved feels heavy. Every sacrifice feels personal. But then, something magical happens. Once you hit that first 100K, compounding starts taking over. You begin earning more from your money than from your job. Your dollars are working harder than you are. And suddenly it gets easier. Not because the world changed, but because your money started working with you. not against you. This is why the wealthy push hard early, because they know the first 100K is the launch pad. After that, the game becomes exponential. 100K becomes 200K, then 400K, and before you know it, a million is in reach. But most people never get past 20K or 50K because they give up. They think it's not working. But the truth? The system was working. It just hadn't had time to bloom yet. Stay in the game until that first 100K. After that, the game starts to play itself. Point 10. Compound interest has an evil twin: compound debt. Let's flip the script for a second, because compounding isn't always your friend. In fact, when used wrong, it becomes your worst enemy. It's called compound debt, and it's the quiet killer of financial freedom. Just like your money can grow when you invest, your debt can grow against you when you ignore it. Interest on credit cards? Compound. Late fees? Compound. Loans you don't pay off? Compound. Every month you delay, the snowball gets bigger. And unlike wealth, compound debt doesn't reward you, it drains you. It steals your peace, it steals your future, and it keeps you running on a treadmill that never stops. This is why the wealthy avoid bad debt like the plague. They understand compounding can work for you or against you. The trick is knowing which side you're on. If you carry credit card debt, payday loans, or high-interest obligations, that's your emergency. Forget investing for now. Your first priority is to stop the bleeding. Kill the compound enemy. Then build the compound ally, because only then can compounding become your greatest asset instead of your biggest trap. Point 11. Emotional patience is the fuel of compounding. Here's something people rarely talk about: the emotional side of compounding. Because compounding doesn't just test your finances, it tests your patience. Can you keep going when it feels like nothing is happening? Can you keep investing when everyone else is panicking? Can you stay consistent when results are invisible? That's the real battle, not with numbers, but with your own emotions. See, markets go up and down. People get scared. News headlines scream crisis. Your mind tells you to sell, to stop, to play it safe. But compounding only works for those who can silence the noise. It's not the smartest who win, it's the most emotionally stable. Those who don't chase trends, those who trust the long game. And that takes mental discipline. It means reminding yourself that slow progress is still progress. That your job isn't to react, it's to stay the course. Because the moment you let fear or impatience take over, you interrupt the compound curve. Emotional patience is your superpower. Learn to master your reactions, because while everyone else is chasing instant wins, you'll be quietly building unstoppable wealth. In the compounding game, the calmest mind wins. Point 12. Compounding rewards. The boring and punishes the flashy. Let's get real. Boring is the new wealthy. The loudest person in the room, the one flashing luxury, flexing success, often isn't compounding. They're spending. They're showing off. But the quiet ones? They're playing the long game. They're investing steadily, reading, learning, reinvesting. No drama, no hype, just habits. Because compounding loves the predictable. It thrives on repetition. And repetition is boring. But boring builds empires. It's putting money in an index fund month after month, even when no one notices. It's learning skills quietly instead of chasing the next crypto trend. It's saying no to lifestyle inflation, even when you get a raise. That's where the power lives. The flashy ones get attention. The boring ones get freedom. You want to impress people? Buy the car. You want to buy time? Build the habit. Because wealth isn't about how loud your life looks. It's about how calm your future feels. Let others chase the spotlight. You chase the compound effect. It may be boring, but boring gets rich. Now you know the truth. Compounding isn't just a math trick. It's a life philosophy. A quiet superpower working silently in the background, for you or against you. So the question is, which side are you on? Will you keep waiting, watching time slip through your fingers? Or will you take one small step today that your future self will thank you for forever? Because here's the truth. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. Start small. Automate what you can. Protect your progress. and never interrupt the chain. Every day you delay, compounding is working for someone else. But every day you take action, it starts working for you. So if you're ready to turn invisible habits into unstoppable wealth, if you're ready to stop chasing quick wins and start building permanent freedom, then this isn't just a video. It's your wake-up call. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Re-listen if you have to. But most importantly, start. Because the compounding clock has already started ticking. And the longer you wait, the more expensive that silence becomes.